This one trip in Vegas, I was in the corner of the bed. He was beating my body. And then he like, if you move, your stomach gonna bleed. I'm gonna kill this baby. You're gonna be bleeding for a month on schoolyard crib. You're not a crib. That's not crib. Having sex with your homies, the guy that puts you on your road manager, road dog, the first one you call, baby mama, that's not crib. You ain't even get DP'd yet. Posting your son penis, that's not crib. That's a demon. For real, like, then he rode me over with a car. Like, bro, this is all when I was 6 months pregnant.
Chrisean Rock may be coming to terms with reality at last. There's a problem with her baby son. However, she is now placing all the blame on Blueface rather than taking responsibility for the pandemonium that surrounded her pregnancy. People have been harshly criticizing her decisions ever since leaked medical records that revealed their son may have health problems appeared. She is also no longer ignoring the heat, mistreated during pregnancy. Yes, that is related to many different things. However, it's also my fault for sticking around and not leaving. She has since returned to the internet and made even more serious accusations, claiming that Blueface had abused her during her pregnancy. Yes, she is accusing him of being responsible for their child's illness, stating that when she was 7 months pregnant, there was violence. She claims that Blueface said, "Your stomach will bleed if you go to get up. I'm going to murder this infant." That is extremely unsettling. Not to mention that the entire world watched as Chrissy disregarded warning signs throughout her pregnancy. She was out partying, apparently drinking, and even seen lighting up around the baby belly, while supporters pleaded with her to stop acting so wild. For months, people called it out, but she remained mute and dismissed it as though everyone was simply hateful. The story has abruptly changed. She says she regrets not leaving sooner and that Blueface was the true threat all along. It's disorganized. It's sentimental. Everyone is now wondering what actually transpired during those 9 months. Is this the whole truth? Or is this just the start of yet another dramatic outburst between these two? He informed me that I would be bleeding on a schoolyard for a month. According to Crone, Blueface threatened her with that. She continued. After that, she also claims that when she was pregnant, he struck her with a car. In a recent interview with DJ Academics, she went on the offensive and claimed that her son's current health problems are directly related to Blueface's alleged mistreatment. Now that things have officially blown up, Blueface's family is getting involved. Carissa Seffold, his mother, came out strong. Here he is, doing his time like it's all his fault, and now she wants to dump even more on him, she says in a fit of rage. He has 2 children already, and they are doing well. She claims that the true issue in this convoluted tale is Christian. Carissa firmly feels that her unborn child's ailment was mostly caused by Christian's careless actions during her pregnancy. She is referring to the numerous warnings that were disregarded, the late-night parties, and the way Christian consistently disregarded family and medical advice. It is causing havoc, and now there are repercussions.
FaceTime her, she's like smoking a joint. Full on pregnant. Full on pregnant. Smoking a joint. And I said, aren't you? And she's like, shh. And I'm like, nigga, they ain't no shh. I'm like, the baby's in the stomach. Like, no fucks given.
Remember how Christian was adamant that her baby was fine only a few weeks ago? She played things down, even when people voiced concerns. However, now that the leaked medical documents are out, she is abruptly changing the course of events, accusing Blueface of mistreating her while she was pregnant and holding him accountable for everything. Christian's baby's drama didn't begin when he was born. Pregnancy had already set it on fire. Everything about her trip was chaotic. She was briefly in love with Blueface. They were at war the next day. Advertisements, speculations about substances, family disagreements, and ongoing online feuds that are becoming viral. And it was immediately apparent that something was amiss. Christian announced the pregnancy publicly in 2023 by sharing a long list of positive test results on Instagram. However, the announcement sparked a fuse rather than happiness. Even though she made a suggestion that Blueface was the father, he came out strongly and denied the baby was his. He declared that they were no longer together and posed grave doubts about the father's true identity. He didn't stop there either. A DNA test was the only way to be certain, according to Blueface, who claimed to have dated several men during that period. Things blew up at that point.
I'm not reaching out to all you that was standing there while the baby was being made and did fucking nothing. You did nothing. You watched her. You watched her because you were scared she was in control of the money. I wouldn't have gave a fuck about that money. I'd have snatched her up and took her to home and made sure she at least got the mental health and counseling that she needed during her pregnancy so that she wouldn't have to regret it for the rest of her life.
Then Chrisean Rock, Blueface's mother, entered the fray like a heavyweight bout. She told the world that Chrisean was not pregnant and accused him of lying outright, bringing up medical professionals, in the process by threatening to revoke their licenses if they permitted such an activity. It was evident that this was more than a personal matter. A full-fledged public paternity scandal broke out. And it wasn't just about the baby daddy's identity, with accusations coming from all sides. It was about reputation, trust, and a family that looked to be on the verge of blowing up at any moment. As the public's anxiety grew, so did Chrisean's pregnancy. It also had a lot to do with her substance abuse. She was urged by the internet to slow down, quit smoking, and consider the baby. However, she disregarded all of the warnings. The most startling moment for the supporters. She answered the phone when DJ Academics called her while she was obviously pregnant, smoking a joint as if it were any other Tuesday. But the eyebrows weren't just being raised by fans. Blueface's mother, Chrisean Rock, went above and beyond. She immediately called out Chrisean's behavior on Instagram Live. Tessa, her sister, and her team. Chrisean accused them of doing little to stop Chrisean's substance use during her pregnancy. She claimed that because Chrisean was in charge of the money, they were afraid to speak up. If I were in Tessa's shoes, Chrisean stated, I would have stepped in and gotten that girl some help. Nothing changed, though. Chrisean continued to do as she pleased despite the incessant protests from admirers and worried relatives. And Blueface ended up back in jail for breaking probation shortly after her son was born. The storyline didn't end there, though. Chrisean went and got another enormous face tattoo with his name. Even though their relationship was a wild roller coaster and Blue was imprisoned. Keep in mind that she had already covered up one before. This time, the fans weren't having it. She received a lot of response, with people unfollowing her in droves and criticizing her for yet again making poor choices.
TIA Kemp jumped into.
Throw additional gasoline on the fire, despite the fact that the internet was already on fire. She and Chrisean have been at odds over the internet for a while, and this time she didn't hold back.
I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say this nicely. Chrisean need to go sit down somewhere, and she need to get this baby some help. She need to get herself some help. She need to stop engaging with all this internet shit and beef and all this shit and keep back and forth with that boy lying and playing on y'all mind. Cause she ain't never played on mine. I don't pay her no attention. I already know she fucked up in the head. But it's making me mad that this baby can't get down and walk. And I'm looking at him right here. It's clear that things are wrong with him. So why she ain't taking this baby, I don't get this. But we don't know what she doing behind closed doors. We don't. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't think she's doing that.
TIA chastised Chrissy for focusing too much on her crazy relationship rather than focusing on being a mother. Upon arriving, she said bluntly, I thought I liked you when you had that little big-faced baby looking like Charles Barkley. Then she really got into it, telling Chrissy that she needed to change things up because she had been out here fighting everyone for 2 years. Get a pebble off the Flintstones. Rocky, get the baby to go to daycare or something so he can learn to crawl and bring Mr. Purpleface along. They gagged the fans. What are you doing? T.I. even asked, stating that the infant ought to be holding
his own bottle by now. She wasn't finished yet, though.
TIA recently returned with additional criticism, this time wondering why Chrisean Jr. hadn't begun to run or walk yet. The shade was thick. However, it also caused many to wonder about the baby's progress once more.
On me, for real. Stop speaking on me. Go back to clapping those those saggy, that saggy of yours. Just go back to mother, bro. You feel me? All you gotta do is, man, encourage the next mother, pray for the next mother, be there for the next mother. Passing judgment, trying to be funny, like I don't got feelings. You already did this before, auntie. And you nobody aunt, we don't know you. You're a fun lady, but we don't know you, bro. In real life, we don't know you, bro. You feel me? And even if you was my aunt, just call me like you really love me, bro. You don't know what's really going on for real and what's really going on for real. Like, I don't know what's really going on with your kid, bro. But you will want us to pray for him, right? When he got stabbed up. I pass judgment. Oh, he outside. He banging. He this. He in the streets. Man, go get your son off the streets, man.
Chrisean had no intention of overlooking that. She gave a forceful clap back. Rather than remain silent, she responded by saying that if she truly cared, Kemp should pick up the phone and quit bringing her up in public. Supporters were split. While some said Tia was acting inappropriately, others claimed she was simply expressing what everyone else was thinking. Following months of dismissing the rumors, everything went south when Chrisean Jr.'s leaked medical records appeared online, and it is just what many were afraid of. According to reports, the document validated long-standing worries that began when Chrisean was still pregnant. The receipts are now available for public viewing. The leaked document indicates that Chrisean's suspected substance use during pregnancy may be directly responsible for the baby's poor health. We are discussing serious charges including exposure to cocaine, alcohol, and painkillers. Fetal alcohol syndrome, which supporters and medical activists had been warning about for months but were consistently rejected for bringing up, was also mentioned in the report.
System and your baby system, and for you weirdos that say I be lying, the only people who lied was her siblings and her friends and associates. Didn't they say the baby was healthy? Charity Ben told you guys his vision was messed up. You seen him meet no milestone.
Furthermore, according to sources, her pregnancy was already dangerous. Wild activity on social media, an unstable environment, and little prenatal care. And now, before he can even say his first word, her kid is facing a number of difficulties. However, what sparked people's anger? Chrisean was seen carrying her infant inside a smoking store in a recently released video. Fans were incensed at once. There were more than one or two remarks. Demands for accountability inundated the internet. Why does CPS not participate? A user inquired. Others were in disbelief and questioned why a baby would be brought inside. A newborn has no place there.
This part of the record says that the baby had fetal alcohol syndrome, neonatal abstinence, seizure disorder, spasticity, cortical visual impairment. Oh my God. And the specialists that he'll need: a neurology, orthopedic, otolaryngology, cardiology, gastroenterology, ophthalmology, pulmonology, and palliative.
The retaliation is growing louder. Fans are pleading with her to back off and allow family members or experts to assist. One remark said, "Get a nanny, get help, do something." Chrisean, however, appears unconcerned thus far. And it is the reason why people are even more irate. By deeming the smoke shop on Instagram and criticizing them for even allowing a baby inside, one fan brought the criticism directly to the source. Chrisean was no longer the exclusive target of the criticism. People wanted everyone to be held accountable. And Chrisean changed course while the internet remained furious. Everything was fine, she said during her sit-down on the Danza project. "My son is in perfect health. He's fantastic," she said. "He's becoming bigger. I've been deliberately keeping him off the internet." However, the issue is that fans aren't believing it, particularly now that there are so many receipts piled up. People have been engrossed in this drama since June 2025. When Chrisean first made the assault accusations against Blueface, detailing the anguish she endured and how terrified she was during her pregnancy. However, it had been a one-sided story. Thus far, because Blueface is imprisoned and unable to speak for himself. Chrisean's recent actions, however, have drawn more condemnation than support rather than pity. Not that the internet is forgetting. Now she's blaming Blue for the baby's health, a fan inquired. Really? Girl, remarked another. You said all this on live before you even gave birth. The harsh remarks followed.
How is Junior doing?
He's great. He's growing.
Amen.
I've been keeping him off the internet on purpose, so just give him his privacy for
you. Mentioned wanting to shoot Blue and Jaden inside a car, didn't you? We've been watching this train wreck for 4 years now, one person wrote. What time will it end? She continues to avoid responsibility as if it were a sport. Chrisean Rock continues to try to change the course of events even after becoming entangled in her own web of denials. When the reality about her baby's illness was revealed by the leaked medical records, she doubled down and blamed Blueface for everything rather than taking responsibility for her actions. She is now claiming that her son's current state of health is due to his mistreatment during pregnancy. Fans, however, can't help but wonder, why did she get a huge tattoo of his entire face inscribed on hers if he's that dangerous? That isn't self-defense. Obsession is what that is. And it is confusing everyone. In the midst of all, despite the chaos she caused during her pregnancy, Chrisean has refused to accept responsibility. The public outbursts, drug use, and partying are all chronicled. And now, every other week, she spins a new story rather than concentrating on how to support her child. She has also allegedly been expelled from Blueface's home. And this drama is going to get considerably messier because he will shortly be released from prison. The remaining peace between them might be completely destroyed by these fresh charges. What do you think of all this then? Is there more to the narrative that we haven't seen, or do you believe that Chrisean is avoiding the truth? Please share your opinions in the comments section below. Let's discuss it. Remember to press the bell, like, and subscribe so you don't miss another controversy this outrageous. See you at the next.